Wonderful, wonderful. So, hi, Shamila. Hi, Anne-Marie. Good to see you. Hello, Trevor. Can't see your handsome face. I don't know what's going on. Okay, wonderful stuff. Well, let's get started. So, welcome to day 2 of our Goals Accelerator boot camp. So we're together for 2 days. We've got 2 more days, well, today and tomorrow. And just a reminder for those on the replay that we're meeting at 7:30 each day, GMT. But you can, of course, watch it on the replay and do a little catch up. So hello to all of those of you who have joined us live today. Let's see if I can get my... Oh, wonderful. Right. So huge welcome to you all. And please do remember the recording is available for 2 days. So by the end of the weekend, the videos will be gone. So if you do need to catch up or review anything, please do take the opportunity beforehand. Trevor, I would love to ask you to mute yourself for me, please. Thank you so much just for the recording. Huge welcome to our VIPs, whether you're in the room or whether you are a VIP that is watching on the replay. I look forward to our session together. So these are the things you get just as a reminder. And you will have already had an email out so that you can book in your one-to-one session, which is going to be fantastic. And also the live mindset meditation session will be on the 31st. So that's next week, Wednesday. But again, if you can't make the live, it doesn't matter. There will be an MP3 recording and that will be sent out to you as well. So then you can just use it ongoing anyway. All right. And if anybody else wants to be a VIP, that's fine. It's still available. And I'm just leaving it open till the end of this boot camp. So it'll be available to the end of tomorrow evening, and you can take advantage of all those goodies. Okay, so let's have a little recap on what we did yesterday. So we talked about goal setting, and more specifically, the psychology around goal setting, how we can set goals properly, what stops us succeeding, and also the importance of goals and using a structure around being able to achieve our goals. So that's what we covered yesterday. And I left you a little bit of homework to do. So I'd be interested, did anybody get their homework done? Did anybody watch a replay and do any homework? Did you manage to do that? That was literally listing down. There were 2 sheets, so it came up to about 30. I counted it. So I was definitely not 20, but it was 30. So the challenge was to write down 30 goals to fill the page. Anybody got that done? Any successes with that?
Got some of it done, Natasha. I've just watched it on the replay actually because I wasn't around last night, but I've not got 30. But it's surprising when you look at the different areas how many you can end up with, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? So I will get to 30, but I'm just trying to
Definitely.
put things up.
And to remember, they can be large or small. They can be personal or whatever. So it can be as little as I want to buy myself a certain piece of jewelry, or I want to decorate my bedroom. And then as big as example I gave yesterday, purchase a Bentley, or change my car or something, or move house. Or so it can be a major thing and the smaller things. So when you think about the small things, and they could be small things like, go on a spa, take myself to the spa 3 times a year. It can be small goals as well. So it's important to have a range of goals, not always just those big, hairy, audacious ones. So if you haven't done it, it's so important for you to do the exercise. This is a process. So please do work through those. But I have a question for you. So that exercise that I gave was a bit of a test, a bit of a red herring. So most people, so I'm not going to pick on anybody, but most people will say something like, I want to, so the example I just gave then, I want to go to the spa 3 times a year. So that's usually how we would phrase it. The important thing when we're doing exercises like goal setting is to set them as if they have happened or they are currently happening. So it's not, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I will be going to find a spa, look for the spa. It's a bit of feed into what we do when we do and we work on vision boards, is being really specific about what it is. So not just a generalization. And if it is a car that you put on there, what is the car that you are driving? I know Trevor's will be a Ghost. Yeah, a Bentley Ghost, unless he's upgraded from that one. But that would be the one that he would go for. But you've got to be specific about that. And I have it. Yeah. I live in a 6-bedroom house in so-and-so road, Bishop's Avenue. Done. Number 53, whatever, name it, number 53. Let me just let Noreen in. So that's how we should be setting. So when we look at this slide, find a new job is not what we're looking for. We want to be saying, my new job is blah, 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 blah. I weigh blah, 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 blah. Not save money. I have X amount of savings in the bank. And then there are further exercises that you can do to reinforce that. But that's for another day. So that was the homework. And it's really important when you're setting those goals to then set them in that way. So let's get back to today. Today, we're going to be talking about mindset. And that mindset is that missing puzzle really in everything that we do. If we think about even getting up in the morning, it's our mindset that gets us to do it. It's the thing that spurs us on. It's the thing that gives us purpose. And when you're able to cultivate a powerful mindset, it can make a huge transformation in yourself, your personality, what you can achieve. And that's what we want to strive for, is get that missing piece of the puzzle, work on it, and make sure it serves us moving forward. So let's start off by defining what mindset is. So when we look at it in the Oxford Dictionary or whatever, or the Collins Dictionary. So really, the simple explanation for it is that your mindset is that established set of attitudes or beliefs that shape your behavior and your thoughts. So I'll say that again. Your mindset is that established set of attitudes or beliefs that shape your behavior and your thoughts. Now, that plays a critical role in determining how you approach your challenges, how you approach your opportunities. So it's really a key factor in your development, and even in your development in the various areas of your life. So we talked about financial, we talked about business, we talked about all of these healthcare and looking after yourself, etc. So your mindset and how you approach it is going to determine what you're able to achieve, where you get with all of those areas. Now, there are only 2 types of mindset, really: a growth or a fixed. And it's not true, 100% not true, that when a person says, oh, I have a growth mindset, that's me, I'm a growth mindset person. The actual reality is we don't all have a growth mindset in everything. It's unrealistic. It's untrue that that's the case. There are certain things we will have a fixed mindset in. There are some, when you think about yourself, there are some things that are non-negotiable. There are non-negotiables for all of us. There are certain aspects of our life, aspects of our personality that we have a fixed mindset, and that can be right or wrong. And then you approach that and you look at those and you see whether you need to then adopt a growth mindset. But 100%, the majority of our being, the majority of our mindset should be in a growth pathway. And the only reason for that is because it serves us to have a growth mindset. It's definitely more of a positive thing for us. And it's the thing that will enhance our life and make great changes in a positive way. So things that may be non-negotiables could be people with religious beliefs, people with political beliefs, people with one non-negotiable for me is I'm a bit of a chicken. So no extreme sports for me, no skydiving, none of that. That's fixed. It's not happening. That's a non-negotiable. The fear for me overtakes anything else. So when it comes to being adventurous, I have a very fixed mindset. I can work on that, and I should work on that, because what I can do is maybe move towards growth. For example, I can challenge myself with maybe things that are not so extreme, but things are a little bit out of my comfort zone. I should be working on those. Okay, so that's a way to say, okay, I've got a fixed mindset in that, but I can pull myself towards growth. We should never stick into fixed, but we pull ourselves towards growth. Perhaps when it comes to religion or political, we might have a fixed mindset, but we might pull ourselves towards having an understanding of others, understanding of other opinions, options, beliefs. Let me just let somebody in. Okay. So the mindset that we choose and we apply will determine our level of success. Because if we do have a fixed mindset, we're never going to grow. So if I do not try things out, I'm never going to get out of my comfort zone. So that's why a fixed mindset would not serve me. So what do highly successful people do? How do they achieve? How can we tap into the mindset of people who are highly successful in what they do? So we can hear their insights. We might read their books. We might look at interviews that they have, that they give. They might drop nuggets. They'll have some quotes. And I looked for a video and I found this one, which I found was quite a nice one. Let's see. Hopefully it's got music on it. Hopefully it's not too loud. Did I load it down? So this is obviously a sportsman who's excelling at his field. Everybody knows, or most people will know, Tony Robbins. Now, his opinion is important because of what he's been able to achieve. A goal without a timeline is just a dream. It is just a fantasy if we're not putting some parameters around the goals that we set. Lack of goals is important in everything we do. According to Lou, I don't disagree. You haven't got a structure that we spoke about yesterday. You're running around like a headless chicken, up and down that field. Having direction with goals is highly, highly important. So that comes back to that structure. And we spoke yesterday about setting those comfort goals. But we want to be able to have some BHAGs in there. We want to have some stretch goals. We get uncomfortable, and that's where our accountability comes in and our resilience. When we do it, I absolutely loved Matt's input yesterday. I know that he probably had times when he thought it was impossible, the amazing weight loss that he had. We have a huge amount of potential. So many of these people are speaking about the plan and the structure of goal setting. It's not random how they approach. And can we muddle through and get successful? Sometimes, yes. But most successful people actually have goals that they work on. And they got that plan, which is fed from that list that we made yesterday. That's what will be your driving force. And then when your mindset comes into play and we do the work on our mindset, that's when we're able to achieve. I'm wondering when my favorite one is going to come up. How many of these resonate with you? When you consider yourself, do you think you can embody this kind of mindset? Do you think that you're able to achieve and have the focus of some of these great people? That concept of never giving up, working through those challenges that are going to hit you, being able to work through adversity that comes up. Life is going to get in the way of your goals all the time, without fail. Keeping yourself on track is so important. But how do we do that? Got to take those big risks and take that chance on yourself. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that shortly. So when I talk about taking that chance on yourself and taking the big risk, okay? So the big risk for me is being able to not do what we tend to do. And what we tend to do is put other people first. What we tend to do is shove ourselves into the background and focus on others. And taking the big risk is doing this, making this your number one priority. And the reason why you'd see it as a big risk is because, okay, well, if I'm just focusing on myself, well, then what about that? What about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? We have to get to the mindset and understand that it starts with us. Because if we're frazzled, it affects how many other things in our life? If we're not able to get enough rest, it affects how many other things in our life? If we're not able to look after ourselves, because time is short, we're only here for a short period of time. We don't know when our chips are up, as they say. We don't know. So it's really important to try as early as possible to achieve the kind of life that we want. What did those people, those successful people, some of them achieved success very late in life, some earlier in life. What have they done? They have put themselves first. They've worked on themselves, by themselves and for themselves, because they recognize that their dreams, their goals, their targets are the things that would improve their life, yes, financially, but I guarantee you they also had consideration on relationships within that, perhaps their career within that, perhaps their self-worth. We all have a different reason to do things. So what's so special about those people? What are the things that they like to do that we perhaps don't like to do? We're always looking for that that one thing, that little pill, that magic secret. What is the thing that you think they like doing that we don't like doing? And the answer is there is absolutely nothing. The things that they don't like to do are the same things we don't like to do. The only difference is they do it anyway. That's the only difference. Their mindset is set in the mode of growth, investing in myself, working on myself. I'm first. That's the only thing. So, okay, so therefore they're not more special than us, which is a good thing, because that means they don't have any superpowers. All they do is they just prioritize themselves. Now, how hard is that? We have to be able to prioritize self. And this image, which I absolutely love, is that field of possibilities. So we prioritize ourselves. That gives us the foundation of that strong mindset. Understanding our self-worth. We have to strike that balance between our self-care and our external responsibilities. Because when we prioritize ourselves, it doesn't mean, right, we dash everything else and it's only about me. No, you have to have that balance. But that way you're able to equip yourself to be able to face the things that are going to come in your way. And when you do that, it's such a great improvement on your mental health, emotional well-being, and then you can navigate those challenges more easily. We're more productive when we're like that. And overall, we're more effective. And we will have no limits. We will be able to get that kite, as I said yesterday, that kite to the moon. we know what is possible. And that's just with our mindset, that self-control that we have, using a structured system, as a lot of the successful people mentioned. And that's about investing in and improving yourself, and also having consistent support. You want to be accountable, and you want to have accountability included in that. And those are the three really important things. So your mindset within a structured system, and that has consistent support. So in order to do this, how are we going to do it? Are we going to be alone? It's really hard to make change alone. It's hard to be the first of something. Although a lot of those successful people have done things alone, it's much harder for sure. Can be really demotivating, particularly when you have barriers, when issues come up. It can be quite isolating, perhaps a little scary, because we as humans are hardwired to be interactive. We are hardwired to have social connection. We are herd animals, like any other animal, really. We're nothing special, but we need and we thrive by working with others. It helps us to cope. It helps us to be more resilient. It helps us to feel much better within ourselves. And there are actually more actual physical changes in us. When you are under pressure, when you're faced with an issue, and you have somebody or a team or whatever to come and support you, it puts you in a calmer state, decreases blood pressure, your heart rate goes down, you're able to regulate your nerves, because it takes away a lot of fear. I'm sure each of us has been in a situation like that, and we've actually felt that in our, is the word physiology. It happens, and it affects us in a positive way. So whenever we're looking to make important changes like this, you must look for support, look for a community, because it gives you the highest possible chance of success. Look for a team, look for many of us do things like networking and stuff like that. That helps us because we're doing it in a team, and it seems more, and to our body, it feels more supportive, and it in fact is more supportive. So as herd animals, we thrive on that. So definitely look for that. It's why things like, Weight Watchers and Slimming World work. That's why group exercise classes work. That's why people do training together, and they get much more out of it than if they just trained on watching a video alone. So we spoke yesterday about that brain of ours, our brain being a computer. So let's talk about integrating mindset into the structure. So yesterday we spoke about the goal setting element of it. When it comes to mindset, you think of a well-designed program. It's the vessel. That mindset is the program that takes the goals that we have to fruition. And those key points and all of those elements are the different habit forming practices that we have. So over time, that will get us that long-term change that we're looking for. And it will be different for each one of us, because obviously we'll have different goals that we're working on. So the habits that we need to put in place will be very individual and very different. And as I said yesterday, it will depend on where we live. It will depend on how we work. It will depend on our lifestyle, depend on many, many different things. Our responsibilities. So the things that we put in place may have a similarity, but it will be slightly different for each person and whatever goal or goals that you're working on at the time. But it's really important for us to remember that our mind is what's going to get us there. So when are we going to do this? We are at the beginning of the year. This is the time. This is the time to start making change. If you're not starting on that list and making the choice to pick off, I say 5 to 10, and start working on those goals for yourself, putting yourself first. If you don't start now, fast forward in your head 3 months' time. Where will you be? You'd be exactly where you are today without having made any steps towards your future or your goal. And you don't want that. We're always striving for change. We're always striving for that new thing. We like making those lists. We might like making those plans. We like making those resolutions. So now it's putting it into action. Now's the time to put them into action. We started, you've got your list. So your start point is already there. You've already visualized the things that you want. Even if you haven't completed it, I'm sure you've got at least 5. So let's get that mindset changing for your future. When your mindset is changing and you're using that to affect the goals that you have on your list, they will be able to come to life. Otherwise, it's just a list. It's just a list. But what you have is the ability. What you have is the power. What you have is the mindset to make those come to life, to make them lift out of that page. And just following your system, just following the structure, putting it in place, doing the things that you need to do to make them happen. So again, you know, I like to give homework. Bit of homework. First thing to do, I want you to actually go back to yesterday's exercise and I want you to rewrite it. I want you to rewrite it, as I explained earlier, in terms of I am driving a Ghost, Bentley Ghost, whatever the car is. I am going on holiday to Hawaii next July. I live in a 6-bedroom house, Bishop's Avenue, number 122. I go to the spa, specific name, insert name, 3 times a year. Or I go to the spa, even better, in July, in September, in December, whatever. Be specific for yourself. My bedroom has, I don't know, whatever installation you want to do, has a chandelier with 3, what are they called? 3 bulbs, whatever it is, what you want, what you've seen and you thought, oh, I don't know, I'd like that. I have 5 Rolexes in my safe. A small and the large. Maybe it's a relationship that you want to work on. Maybe you've got £65,000 in the bank. Maybe you have X amount of clients that you work with a month, a year. Maybe you got a new friendship group. Maybe you're going to be a black belt in Taekwondo. So let's go through that list and make it about all areas of your life, please, for you. So write it as if it is in the present and it is happening. And then the second bit of homework is a mindset exercise that I'm going to send to you. So that will be sent over, and then obviously I'll copy the first sheets again, just to make it easier, so you don't have to look for the other email. So and there'll be a mindset exercise. So that will be something that I'd love for you to be able to do before tomorrow's session. And it's just the next step now in being able to get to where you need to be so we can get those goals accelerated for you. So are there any questions, guys, before we close off today? Have I stunned you into silence? Good. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I will leave that with you. Ponder a bit, maybe rewatch this, because I know I've been speaking at you for half an hour, but definitely think about. Oh, somebody put something in the chat. Let me open that up. Oh, thanks. So definitely think about mindset. Think about where your mindset is. Think about the growth versus the fixed, in what areas that shows up for you. And part of the mindset exercise that I'll send you guys anyway, will have some elements of that. It's really important to know yourself, to understand yourself, and this is the way that you'll be able to get to the next stage. Because if you understand you understand your blockages, your challenges, your story that you tell. We all have a story that we will tell ourselves, that we replay in different areas. And it may be I'm not good enough story. It may be I'll never be this story. It may be that the stories are all very different, and a lot of them, the particular story that I'm talking about is your BS story, the story that is not good for you, the story that's not serving you. I'm not good at my job. I'm never going to be able to, my business is not going to flourish. Oh, this is so very difficult. This is so very difficult. This is so very difficult. And that is what you're feeding yourself. Your mindset is not where it needs to be. And that could be something that's a barrier to you being able to achieve. So the mindset exercise will help with this and for you to get to know you, and just want you to just think about the concepts and the things that I've shared with you today. And hopefully, well, not even hopefully, I know that when you have got yourself on this road, it will make it so much easier for you to be able to succeed. So thank you very much for your time. Have a fantastic evening, and I will see you at 7:30 tomorrow.